What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Secret Invasion Season 1, Episode 3, Betrayed. Not really much to say about this one, to be honest. Wasn't really anything super awful, super great about it. It was just kind of here. Seems like it's kind of furthering the plot. The scene with Gaia, I'm unsure of. Kind of similar to the whole thing with Maria, where if she's really dead, it feels weird. It feels weird that she was just shot in the middle of the night, nobody else around. I feel like if they were going to kill off Gaia, it would be more meaningful, especially with Talos. I feel like there would be a scene where he would be around or he would know about it when it was happening. It would not just be oh, she was shot in the middle of the night and he'll find out about it later. That just feels weird to have right now. Yes, it's halfway through the season, but we're only 3 episodes in, technically. So to already have her gone, that doesn't seem right to me. I don't know how you would get around that, because it certainly looked like she died. But who knows? Again, spy thrillers, they like to kill people off, but not really. So every chance that somehow she managed to get out of it fine. The stuff with the woman that Fury is with, can't remember her name now. I'm sure I'll remember it later, but I'm still not sure what's going on with that either. She seems to want to talk to Gravik. She was going to get that gun. I don't know if that's suggesting maybe that she wants to kill him next chance she gets, but she's not getting that chance because he's refusing to meet with her or something along those lines. I don't know. We'll kind of wait and see for that one, but it was sort of here. It was information that was being given to me, and that was kind of it. There was nothing really else on top of that at least I could see. I will admit the stuff with Fury is still a little frustrating, because this episode it felt more like they were trying to sort of repair the relationship between him and Talos. And again, that's not really what I'm here to see. I'm here to see Nick Fury be a badass. I'm here to see him go through this whole spy thriller and be one step ahead of the game and be plotting and planning on how he's going to take down Gravik and his whole plan. And I feel like we're just not getting that much of it. We got a little bit more in this episode, but outside of the interrogation in the first one, and then whenever he goes and is trying to take down this Bob guy, whenever he realizes it's not Talos that told him, or that was talking to him on the earpiece, when he realizes that and then brings the sun in to threaten him, like that's another, okay, that's a Nick Fury badass moment. We're getting those very rarely in this series, and I know a lot of it is about the Skrulls shapeshifting and how they've ingrained themselves in society to where they can possibly take over. So I know that's kind of the main thing, but Fury is, in my opinion, the main character trying to stop this. He is the best suited, the way his mind works, the way he's able to work in the shadows. He's right. If they tried to call in the Avengers, there's every chance that the Skrulls would either make them look like terrorists by having them kill innocent civilians, or they would just turn into the Avengers and start killing people and have the whole public turn on them. So there's every chance that they could use that against them. So to have somebody who's working in the shadows try to go up against them, that makes sense. And so it's why I think Nick Fury is a good main character to have work against this secret invasion. But they're not really doing it effectively. They're focusing more on him as a character and how he's broken and he's, again, washed up. And it's just not an interesting story for me. And I don't feel like they're doing anything interesting with it. So I'm still a little frustrated with that, but it wasn't anything that was worse than what happened in the last episode, so I guess there's that. It got a little bit better. But yeah, as far as Gravik is concerned, it does sort of feel like we're just going with, no, he just wants to live here on Earth, and so he's trying to take out humanity so that they can. Okay, that's just very simplistic to me. I really thought it was going to be something along the lines of he wanted to make the Skrulls stronger so that way they could actually maybe avenge their people, do something about that. But no, it's just, we want to live here on Earth in our own skin, and the best way to do that is to make humans go extinct, so we're going to become stronger so we can go take them down. Well then, that's basically every villain thing that I've heard, almost. Like, it's so simplistic. It's so easy to write, to just make a guy that I want to destroy humans so that we can live here. Couldn't you think of something a little bit better? Couldn't you think of a villain that maybe has a bit more intriguing backstory? Because the way it is, it's just, okay, so he lost his parents when the Kree attacked, and I guess because of that he grew up a little messed up, so it only took him 30-40 years for him to go, you know what, it's too long, Fury, you didn't keep your promise to us. I know you're still working on it, but you didn't keep your promise to us. So hey, I'm done waiting. I'm just gonna wipe out humanity so we can live. Like that's such an uninteresting villain plot in my opinion. So I'm a little disappointed there as well. I think the biggest critique I can give it is that it's pretty uneventful so far. It's not anything that I was really hoping for as far as what was being built up, this intriguing idea of who can you trust. A lot of that feels like it's sort of being pushed to the wayside. I don't feel like there's a lot of that being focused on. I mean, even just Fury going to meet with Talos, there should be a sense of, I mean, is this even Talos? How do we know he hasn't been replaced? How do we know that when we saw whenever Talos went to go talk to Gravik, everybody in there turned into Gravik? And in that moment, I was thinking to myself, what a cool idea that maybe he's not even talking to Gravik, but that's not what they're implying with it. It's more so just showing all of these people in here are with him. And I just feel like that's the idea that they're presenting could be taken in a different way that's more interesting for me. This idea that you could be talking to Gravik, but you could not be. Maybe he goes in and he kills Gravik thinking, oh, I got him, but then it's not him. It's somebody else pretending to be. Like, that would be a more interesting idea, a dilemma to bring up. But it feels like they're not going to do stuff like that. It feels more so like they're just focusing on, all right, so here's his plan. He's trying to destroy humans. Gaia's working from within to stop him. He's trying to root her out as the traitor. It seems like he already knew she was throughout most of this episode, so at the end, it's like he's not even surprised whenever she betrayed him and got the airstrike called off. Like, why have her make that decision then in last episode to call in on the safe house? Why have her do that? Because it basically exposed her as the traitor. There's just a lot of weird moves being made, and I don't feel like all of them make sense. And I don't know. Again, I'd prefer more so if we focused on the idea of you don't know who you can trust, because who knows who's a Skrull, who knows which Skrulls might be posing as other Skrulls. That is an intriguing concept. What they're doing with it is not really that intriguing. It's just very much kind of a typical spy thriller, but even then it's more so focused, at least for Fury's side of things, it's more so focused on him trying to get back into the game, and I'm just not really that interested in it, unfortunately. So like I said, that's kind of it. Not too much to talk about outside of it. And looking at the times, what kind of sucks is we're getting less and less time in each of these episodes. So it feels like every episode's going to have less and less information going forward. Again, I think they could have taken more time with this. I think they could have introduced characters a bit more. I think they could have expanded the idea of the Skrulls and what they're doing. It just kind of feels like we're kind of quickly rushing through this idea and getting introduced into what the Skrulls have been doing and this council and all of that. And I can see where a lot of the frustration lies, at least for now. Again, it could get better, it could get worse, but definitely my expectations, I think, were higher than what I'm getting right now. So unfortunately, that's where it is. But on to the next episode. I'll see you guys there. And now episode 4, Beloved. Yeah, that was bad. Wow, was that bad? I'm shocked. I really am, because it just feels like I don't know. They just all of a sudden lost their minds with that whole final fight scene, and they had no clue what they were doing. It was like the editing team was given a bunch of clips, and they just started putting it all together in just hodgepodge fashion. And first of all, just confused, no idea what's going on, no idea where everybody is in relation to each other. It's just all over the place. I mean, Fury and Talos show up, and I'm pretty sure they were behind Gravik and his men, and then all of a sudden they're in front of them getting to the president, and the reinforcements that came out of nowhere. You got Gravik all of a sudden whipping out his powers, but then he's got his gun again and he's using it from behind a car even though he just used his power. Everybody's screaming, oh, it's the Russians. Nobody reacted to him using his powers. All of a sudden he's turned into one of the soldiers and he's got Talos, and then Fury is shooting at him. None of the soldiers around are reacting. He turns into himself, stabs Talos. What? How? How did he get there? How did he grab Talos? How come nobody's reacting to anything except for Fury? There's the one guy who sees Talos transforming. He's an alien, goes to shoot. And Fury's just like, no, he's with me. Okay, why did we even show that? Why even show that? It's such a throwaway scene. Clearly he's with Fury. He's been with Fury this whole time. Clearly Fury knows this and he's not reacting to seeing it. Why is this one guy? He's an alien. What? Why waste 5 seconds on that to do nothing with it? Just to have Fury go, no, he's with me. Oh, okay. And then turn back and go and shoot. The scene was all over the place. People were dying. I have no idea. It seemed like all of the Americans died that were guarding the president. And then all of a sudden there's still like 5 or 6 of them left shooting at Gravik and his men. Gravik and his men, it felt like so many of them were dying, and then there's still like 10 to 15 of them left, even though it seemed like a lot of them just were gone. And all of a sudden there's still more of them. Again, no idea where the reinforcements came from, no idea where the other reinforcements and the helicopters came from. All these reinforcements coming from all these different places. Who are they? Where do they come from? How do they know to be there? On top of that, the whole scene with him and with Fury and Rhodes, which, by the way, we don't even see what happens to Rhodes. He's in a completely different car. He calls in to tell Gravik what car he's in, what car the president's in. Nobody seems to react. Why are you taking that call, sir? Why are you saying which car the president's in, sir? Are the people in his car also part of Gravik's men? Or are they just not reacting to him telling somebody on the phone what car in the line the president's in? Which also, he said he was in the 4th car. I'm pretty sure he was in the 2nd car, based on there's 2 explosions for the front 2 cars, and the president's car seemed like it was the 2nd one. So that might have been also a mistake. But we don't even know what happens to Rhodes at the end of it. He's sitting in one of the cars that's just sort of away from the action. Does he just drive away? Does he sit there and go, yeah, I saw the whole thing. I stayed in my car. Why did you stay in your car? Oh, I didn't want to get shot. Okay, but you're a colonel. You're supposed to be putting your life on the line for the president, and you didn't move. You didn't try to stop these Russians from going to take him down. Like, what's he going to say? So the whole scene between him and Fury, though, I understand, okay, so they're using this liquid tracking thing in the bourbon. Fine, whatever. That's all they did, though? Like, it seemed like maybe there was something Fury was planning, something he was cooking up to try to maybe get one up on Gravik. Nope, just tracking Rhodes, tracking where he is. Okay, that did nothing. All that did was lead you to the convoy as they were getting attacked, and that was it. Like that's so minimal. You could have been just sort of following the car from a distance and just seen the smoke and gone, oh, well, maybe we need to get in there and stop this from happening. Tracking Rhodes does nothing to help you. I thought he was going in there with a bit more of a plan. Even Rhodes' reaction to him talking about this stuff, it seems like he knew that Fury was onto him. And he's like, hey, you know that I'm a Skrull. Well, guess what? I know, or I have this footage of you shooting Hill. I'll release this. That's kind of what it felt like. But then he just sort of lets Fury leave, as if they didn't have that exchange. As if he didn't just say, yeah, I know that you know that I'm a Skrull. And by the way, when did he become a Skrull? Are we going to ever find that out? Like, was this sometime after the blip? Was this in the past couple months? Has he always been a Skrull since the first time we met Rhodes? Is that why he looked different in the first Iron Man? I mean, it's just so... It feels like one of those scenes whenever he sits down next to... I still didn't learn her name. Priscilla. That was her name. When he sits down next to her, it's supposed to feel... And I guess even last episode, whenever you heard his voice on the call, I guess some people probably knew right away. I didn't really catch it. It's funny, I actually caught it more so when they did the previously on. And I heard the voice. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds kind of like Rhodes. And then he sits down next to her. They want it to be he's been a Skrull this whole time. The problem is you've not done anything really with that. He's hardly been involved. The only scene we've really seen him heavily involved is with Fury telling him what's going on and him firing Fury. It's basically it. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, he was a Skrull. That's why he fired him. Okay. And? I mean, honestly, that scene doesn't really change. Even knowing he's a Skrull, he still had a point. Even if it was Rhodes, even if he wasn't somebody else, he still would have had a point. Because a lot of what Fury's doing is kind of ridiculous. He's not as good as he used to be. I mean, the fact that Talos gets killed in this episode, it's like all these people around him are dying because he's not on top of his game. We are 2 episodes left in this season. He's still not on top of his game. He's still getting beaten. He's still getting bested. When are we going to see him finally step up and actually be the Nick Fury that we know and love? Because we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that Nick Fury, and I kind of hate it for that. But yeah, so that final scene, though, definitely the worst part about this season. I mean, it was so poorly edited, so poorly put together, so poorly shot. I don't know how you could follow anything that was happening in that scene. It was so much just, it will just shoot all these scenes of people shooting, people dying, things blowing up, cars flipping and stuff. We'll just shoot all of these scenes. Editors, make it make sense. And they did not. It was so all over the place. For me, the scene where Gravik used his Groot powers to crush the one guy, to me, that scene, it looks completely out of place to me. It feels like that scene was shot from a different show, from a different timeline where he decided, hey, you know what? I'm tired of pretending to be Russian, so I'm just going to start killing these people. It doesn't feel like it had any bearing on this plot for him to suddenly use Groot powers. Nobody reacted to it. It felt like he didn't even do it because in that one scene, he didn't have a gun when he used his Groot powers, and then the next scene he does have his gun again. It was really, really bad. Definitely one of the worst edited scenes I think I've seen in a Marvel product for a while. As far as everything else, I mean, Gaia, don't really know what's going on with that. She apparently survived because she already went through the thing that's going to turn them into the Super Skrulls. They apparently are using the Extremis thing, which was from Iron Man 3. I mean, okay. I don't know. Are we going to find out why it works on them? Was it perfected by this doctor? Which, by the way, it's not even a real doctor. It's the Skrull that's taken her over because we see she's in one of the pods that the Skrulls are using. Did she find out how to make it work so it doesn't make the user explode? Or are we just supposed to assume that Skrull DNA, it just works better with it? I don't know if they're going to explain that or not. I kind of hope they do, and it's not just something they've overlooked and said, it's movie magic, who cares? But yeah, so apparently Gaia, she used it, it worked. It's kind of weird because it felt like they were still in the testing phase. It felt like they hadn't really figured it all out yet, and yet apparently Gravik has already turned into a Super Skrull. Now Gaia's a Super Skrull. Okay, sure. Why not? But then she just disappears after having an argument with her father, and now her father's dead. So it feels weird. It feels like they don't really know what they're doing anymore. The whole love story between Fury and Priscilla, also kind of weird. Like this, if this were someone we had met before in maybe a past Marvel property, or if this show were given more time to breathe and maybe it were over 8 episodes instead of 6, and we actually got to see them together more, I might care about this story. I might actually feel something for this story. But the problem is first of all, it's taking time away from what I want to see more of, which is this Skrull plot going on. I want to see where it's all going to go. And they're taking time away to focus on this romance between Fury and Priscilla. And then it just, they spend all this time and nothing really happens. She's supposed to kill him. She can't bring herself to. He doesn't kill her. And then that's kind of it. He just leaves her. Sure. You know, like, I just can't imagine what the writers were thinking with this. It doesn't amount to anything. Because ultimately what it's trying to do is build up this emotional romantic story where Fury has to make a decision. Does he shoot her, or does he trust that she's not going to shoot him, and not, or can he not bring himself to shoot? Like there's a story there that they're trying to build up to be this really big dramatic thing. It's not. It's not. We just met this woman last episode. We just finally found out about her last episode. And even then, we didn't get that much time with her. Why do we care about this story? Oh, well, you care about Fury, don't you? So this is a woman he loved, and that's why you should care about it. No, that's not enough. Because also, this isn't the Fury that we've come to know. This is a completely different Fury that is suited more for this show, where he can't just be one step ahead. He's got to constantly be getting beaten, or else the show would be over too fast. They can't make an enemy that is just that good. They can't focus on how the Skrulls can be anybody. Talos, I mean, like I said, there could be, maybe it wasn't Talos this whole time. Maybe somebody was posing as him this whole time. You could throw all these different things that could try to throw Fury off, and he's trying to stay one step ahead, but instead you just made it to where we're not focusing on the Skrulls doing all this really deep, intricate stuff to try to throw Fury off. It's just, they have a plan. He's old and washed up, and he's not catching on to any of it. He's fallen behind. He's so far behind right now that he's losing this battle. He's losing the war. How's that fun? How's that fun to watch? I'm very confused, because once again, when I saw the previews, when I heard about the concept, I was excited. I thought this is a good idea. This is a fun idea. It's very different from a lot of the Marvel stuff that we've been getting recently. And instead, while it is kind of different from some of the Marvel stuff we've gotten, it's not quite focused on the big CGI fights and the superheroing and, oh, I gotta be a superhero, I gotta protect people and all this stuff. It's not focused on a lot of that stuff, but it also kind of is at times. And it's not done well. It's just not. The storytelling is not catching my interest. The writing, it feels like, is kind of all over the place at times. The editing and direction is definitely all over the place. It's probably the worst that I've seen from Marvel. I just don't know what happened. I don't know if this was maybe an idea that they had, that they had passion about it at first. They had this idea, and then the more they wrote it, the more that they thought about it, the more they were like, you know what? Maybe we don't have much here. Maybe we just don't have the ability to make this work. And so they just kind of lost interest and eventually started doing just whatever. Who cares? Whatever. Just write whatever. Just film whatever. We'll just try to make it work. It feels like a project that kind of fell to the wayside, if I'm being honest. And as little people have talked about it, as little as it's been mentioned, kind of has that sense of a project that Marvel just sort of pushed aside because it was an interesting concept at first, so they were building it up, and then the more they realized that they had nothing here, they just kind of pushed it aside. I can definitely see where the frustration comes in. I can definitely see where people really didn't like the show. I don't know if a lot of that is also down to the fact that a lot of people were looking forward to this, or if it's just that many people dislike the show. But for me, I do think my extra dislike and looking at the bad editing and all of this stuff, the reason why I'm extra frustrated is because I was so looking forward to the show, because I was so looking forward to this idea, and it feels like they're not doing anything with it, and they're ruining it for me, and I am extra mad because of it. So yeah, I think that's about it from this episode, though. But I guess we'll see how it all comes to an end. I'll admit I'm definitely not looking forward to it as much as I was at the beginning of this season. Yeah, we're here, so might as well finish it out. With all that being said, though, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 2 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Secret Invasion reviews. And until the final episode, I hope you guys have a great day. And I will talk to you all later. Peace out.